Welcome to Batchademia,
a podcast so educational it could be a university class.
With your hosts,
Danielle Dick McHugh,
Kim Hannah,
and Bill Henninger. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Batchademia. This week, we are on episode 4 of season 10, and we had a bomb dropped on us in this episode this week. They're halfway through. Are we only going to have an 8-episode season?
How are we already to 6 people? It doesn't even make sense. When I saw how many roses were in the tray at the end of the episode, I went, wait, what? How is this a thing?
Well, and here's the thing. I feel like this is the right amount, right? I feel like this show is well paced. I'm still engaged.
I love it.
Years, it's like by this time I'm like, I don't care. Yeah, I think it's going well.
I'm having a great time this season.
I don't
hate anyone.
Yeah.
I don't even hate Brayden.
You got to come up and watch one with us.
I did.
Things are going wonderful.
Maybe we can do the finale together too.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah, I like that.
Awesome.
Cool. What else is new?
I painted a room. I'm doing house projects.
Nice. We were both on house project patrol.
Yeah.
You painted a room. Keep going. Yeah.
Oh, so I took yesterday as a mental health day because I didn't feel very good on Monday. I went home sick on Monday, and yesterday I didn't feel 100%, but I also didn't feel like working because I wasn't at 100%. And my employment heavily encourages mental health days, and this was the first one I've taken. So I was like, I'm taking one.
Yeah, God bless them.
I know it's amazing, but because I am the person that I am, a mental health day for me meant I painted a room because I'm not just gonna not do anything. That's not good for my mental health. My mental health is like a project, getting something off my to-do list. So I painted a room and I love it. It's beautiful.
A mental health day is anything that improves your mental health.
And it improved my mental health. And I came back to work today ready to rock and roll.
I think all businesses should switch to this PTO days instead of sick days, vacation days. You get days. They're whatever you want. You got kids, you got to take them to the doctor. Bang, that's your day, right?
Yep. And we have unlimited. And no one takes advantage of it. And we have unlimited PTO.
Nice.
And so it's great. It's awesome. Highly recommend it.
We at the university have what I like to call ambiguous PTO, where it's for faculty.
I was gonna say that's because you're faculty, not P&S.
So on the P&S side, they have very faculty don't have days off, but they get summers off, but they don't get paid. And so it's if you're sick and you can't teach, you don't call in a sub, you cancel class, and it just leads to I just wish we would be this is what you get. You get these days, yeah.
But then we get a group text from you today in which you're like, guys, you can't text me between 1 and 3:30. I'm napping. And you got all the middle finger-esque memes you possibly could have gotten in response to
Correction, I didn't say I'm napping. I said this is faculty nap time for all of the faculty. Please don't disturb us.
But were you napping?
I'm an administrator. I don't.
Were you napping?
No, I wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I was working out.
Sure.
I don't I'm an administrator. I don't get these wonderful summers off like Elaine or Chris Larimer or
I love that you say his name again when you know he doesn't like it.
Oh God, he loves to be called out. Hi Chris.
Hi Chris.
All right. We've had enough shenanigans.
Yes.
What is an odd non-negotiable you have for a partner? And I can give you context for why I thought up this question.
Okay.
So 2 of our other favorite people, Kelsey and Ryan Randall, who play on our softball team.
Yes.
They were talking and I said, it's good that you guys can play beer league softball and get along. And I said, because I don't think I could ever date or marry somebody who took it so seriously that they were mean, they were rude to people. It's you guys have a good sense of humor. And so that's one of my non-negotiables that my significant other can show up, have fun, hang out with my friends. It's Elaine's friends are also on our softball team, obviously. And play hard but not be competitive. Like if you lose, it's beer league softball. If you win, it's beer league softball.
Beer league softball.
Yep.
So I like the question.
Thank you.
I think one of my non-negotiables that isn't like a serious but is kind of serious is.
Well, give us a serious one too.
Okay, well
This show really is an avenue for us to find you someone to date and marry, as long as they have a boat.
They do need to have access. They don't have to own a boat, but they have to have access to a boat. I think one of my non-negotiables is they have to be okay with me doing things like by myself. Like I'm a big fan of going to movies by myself. I love going to movies by myself. I already have my ticket purchased to see Barbie on Sunday. Super excited. I have to be able to have my own Kim time because I thrive around other people, but I also thrive and regroup, revive with alone time. So a non-negotiable is I have to have alone time, and I have not so much friends, but like friends' parents who don't ever do anything without the other person, and I don't get that. That is not something that I would thrive in. So
yeah.
Me time is a necessity. Being okay with me doing stuff by myself is a necessity. And then I think another one would be you have to be able to hold a conversation and have like read books past high school.
Oh, I get that. That's the more serious one, probably.
That is the more serious one.
Yeah.
I can't have somebody that the last book they read was The Catcher in the Rye in 10th grade and they've never read another book since. No, thank you, pass.
It is a really good book, but yeah.
I've never read it, and I don't know that I want to.
It's a pretty good book. Yeah, you have to at least have made it to Kite Runner, which I don't think they do in school, but
that's a good one.
Yeah. My fun non-negotiable is they can't like Pizza Ranch. If I was on a date and someone was like, you know what, I love Pizza Ranch, I'd be like crawling out the window. Actually, I'd probably table flip. So most of my friends have seen me get like unnecessarily hot about how much I dislike Pizza Ranch and how I just even now.
I think another one, I think we're just going to make lists of things we don't like.
Yeah.
I think another one for me is they won't eat vegetables. Like, you're a grown ass man, eat a vegetable, and don't tell me you don't eat green vegetables. That's dumb. So
I've never understood that one, but I like vegetables, so
they're delicious.
Okay.
Now
we've got Kim's more than 2-minute recap, and if you are not watching this on YouTube, I implore you to stop the podcast, throw on the YouTube just to watch this, because Kim apparently has a full-on show, and I'm going to stop talking.
So I like to do visual things in an audio medium. So I don't know if you've noticed that this season I've had a theme for every episode based on something that's happened on the show. My fantastic wig for the first episode that I did, Danielle and I both wore dangly earrings, and I wore a scarf the second time I was on. So tonight, I don't know if you noticed this week, but they were in Stevenson, Washington. Yes! They were so now Bill has a hat on too for this audio medium episode.
University of Northern Iowa.
We are both repping purple and gold, baby.
Yeah. We are a wonderful regional comprehensive with many different majors. Small school feel, big school experience.
You'll feel at home the minute you step on campus.
Go for it, Kim. Sorry.
So Charity rocked many different hats, and almost all of them had balls, fuzzy balls on the top of them this week. And I happen to love winter and love accessorizing and love hats. So I will be switching out hats throughout the recap and the episode to showcase some of my hats. So again, super cool thing to do in an audio podcast, but you can see some of the hats on YouTube. We'll see what all makes the cut. I didn't bring all of them out because that would be weird, but okay. So recap episode 4. I haven't done a recap yet this season. I love doing the recaps. They will be snarky. Please bear with me. It's definitely more than 2 minutes. So the first thing I want to say before I even start is so I watched the episodes on Hulu, and I don't know if they're showing these Serena and Grocery Joe commercials with Maybelline on ABC, but there's like a whole storyline that they're doing about this dumb foundation, Maybelline foundation. It's not dumb if you sponsor us, and I don't wear foundation, but I would if Maybelline sent us samples.
Keep going.
But they do this whole like story commercial on the Hulu commercials, and I don't like it, and they're super annoying, and I just wanted to put that out there before I got started. Okay. First of all, I want to move to Stevenson, Washington. It was beautiful. The scenery was amazing. We are down to 10 guys. How is this possible? Brayden, they tour the room. Brayden's, I guess, never seen a fireplace in a bedroom before. He's super excited about it. Apparently there are a lot of Bigfoot sightings in Stevenson. So I wrote this as I was watching, but I'm guessing there will be a lot of Bigfoot puns. There actually weren't, but I'm okay with that. Sean is dressed like Mr. Sheffield, and I just want to say solidarity with our SAG strikers, writers, and actors, and the nanny herself, Fran Drescher. Stay strong, rock on, we love you. Okay, so Dotun gets the first one-on-one. I really like Dotun. I think he's delightful and adorable, and he's super tall. The guys are all standing on the balcony as they leave in the yellow Jeep, and Joey's looking at them I'm on camera, so I have to have a smile on my face, cringe face. Like, you can kind of tell he's not super happy, but he also understands the show and that he's on TV. But then Brayden acts like a little bitch. But he's not wrong about saying Sean looks like Prince Charming from Shrek 2. When he said that, I went, oh my God, he absolutely does, complete with like the hair flip. And Brayden also knows that Charity's favorite color is blue, so that's nice that they've had that conversation. I feel like that's an easy thing for anyone to know, so good on you, I guess. Okay, so we're on the Dotun date. My God, he is tall. They start walking and they see this giant bridge, and they're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, are we gonna have to bungee jump? Yes, they will. They are both terrified. Neither one of them want to do this. I feel like they should have the ability to do hard out, like I pass. But they do it, and they get a huge adrenaline rush. I have rappelled off of buildings twice, and I agree that the second before you jump or step off the side of whatever you're about to jump off of or rappel off of is terrifying, and your heart is like in your throat. And then the minute you go down, you're like, this is amazing, this is amazing, this is amazing. And they have that adrenaline rush, so they actually do it again, which I totally get because you're high on life. And I really like Dotun. I really hope he is one of the final. I think he's just a great all-around guy. Then they go back to the guys because they're getting ready to announce who's going to be on the group date. And I know there's been a lot of talk about AI recently. And so I just want to say that I think that Brayden is what AI would create if you typed in coffee shop poetry reader, likes jewelry, man bun, immature, and the Ohio State University. I feel like that is the Brayden aesthetic. That is what AI would create.
That's good.
They show the group, and I'm like, who? Why? How is Tanner still here? Why is he still here? The group card is red. Joey, Aaron, Michael, Caleb, Brayden, Sean, John, Tanner. The card says, meet me in the woods. Wink. And then this means that our knitting king Xavier is going to be the second one-on-one date. So we go back to Dotun and Charity. Dotun says that he's having s'mores for the first time in his life. And I really want to take a moment to yell at Dotun's childhood friends, because you have failed him if you never invited him over to your house as a kid and made s'mores over a fire. That's cruel. You're bad friends. Fix yourself. He talks about his background as an immigrant and that his family came to the United States when he was 4, and they came as part of the lottery, and his experience as the child of hardworking immigrants. And I just want to say, in the words of Hamilton the musical, immigrants, they get the job done. So stop being a-holes, anti-immigration folks. We're going all over the place with this recap. Also, their date night is super cute. They're outside, they're surrounded by lanterns, and there are no Bigfoot sightings. And Dotun gets the rose. Yay, Dotun. And in the middle of nowhere, we've got one of those random hot tubs that the Bachelor or the Bachelorette loves to do.
Nowhere.
They love an in the middle of nowhere hot tub. And they barely show, like, they only show close-ups of him. And I think it's because I bet he barely fits. Like, he's such a tall guy. I bet he barely fit in that hot tub.
He looked really awkward when they were like kind of squatting down.
Yeah. I
There
bet if he
were-
stood up, the water would hit him at his knees.
Yeah, if you go back and watch, there were lots of little clips where somebody was like kind of Bigfoot walking in the background. I think
I bet I had my head down writing and I missed those.
Yeah.
I saw the end. Well, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
Okay, so then they show the guys showing up for the group date, and of course Brayden has a walking stick. Good God. And then I have a question for you. How did they all know to pack LL Bean costumes? Do you think that the Bachelorette wardrobe provided them with all those sweaters, or they all just happened to own those sweaters and brought them?
When Elaine and I were watching, I was like, Jesus Christ, they look like a Land's End fall catalog.
Yeah.
And so I do backpack, right?
Mhm.
Like 5 days out without, coming back in. And none of that is what I wear. Like, it is like UV, like stuff that you can unzip, so.
Yeah. Gotta have the turkey face showing. I got another hat on, guys. I put on my turkey trot hat with a turkey face on
like it. I dig it.
Yeah, I hike a lot too. I don't use any of that crap. And I have yet to fall off the side of a mountain. I've come close, but I haven't fallen off of any hills or mountains or anything. Okay, so we're on the group date. These little child actors show up, and Arya is gonna cut a bitch. Arya is scary. I was scared of her. I don't know if her real name is Arya or if they were like, we love Game of Thrones, we're gonna call this child actor Arya, but she's scary. Watch yourself.
Hell hath no fury like a group of tweens, man.
Man, those little Girl Scouts were terrifying.
Too, they found like what every one of those guys, what they were like most uncomfortable about their bodies, and they could have just been like, you have high set hips.
Yep.
Yeah.
Boom, you're bow-legged, jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
They're there to teach the guys forest skills by sending them out to find food to eat in the forest. There's a New Girl episode about this, and Jess almost dies. Don't do this. They can't bring back dirt because apparently that would have been an option to eat. It's fine. Aaron says he's going to catch a fish. I don't think he did. And then the winner gets to kiss Charity at the kissing tree. And my favorite part of the whole episode thus far, Charity is asked by the child actors who she thinks is the smartest, and she goes, not Brayden.
I'm Brayden.
The shade. Brayden finds beets. They looked like beets. Was there a farmer's market in the woods?
All right. They had to have things laying out for them to pick up, and a naturalist being like, you can have that, you can't have that, because there are some mushrooms that will straight kill you.
Yeah, they will murder you when you put them on your lips. Sean calls the girls demons, and honestly, yeah, they were demons. They were super scary child actors. Okay, so most of them find mushrooms. We just talked about maybe poisonous, maybe not poisonous. And Brayden eats the beet like he's Dwight Schrute. He bites right into it because he's a man. And that's what men do.
Was it a beet or a turnip?
I don't know. It was fake. It looked like it was straight from a farmer's market, whatever it was. And then they talk about protecting Charity in the woods, and they all vote that they would eat Brayden if they were in an alive situation. Oh, yeah. And I don't know that Brayden has enough fat on him to be a worthwhile meal. I get why they chose him, but I don't think he would sustain them for very long.
No one does on that show.
No, that's
You're better off eating one of the kids that would be like veal.
Eat a kid or one of the like production assistants or something.
Yeah, you've got some poor production assistant that's just like eating McDonald's and barely making it, and that's the one you want. Yeah,
that's the one you want. Who's eating carbs and spaghetti? Go after them.
You want the marbling in your steak for sure. Keep going.
Right? Oh God, steak sounds good. The winner is Aaron. Mm-hmm. Charity doesn't seem very excited about it, but she does take him to the kissing tree. Brayden is shirtless for his talking head. Okay. He was very proud of the fact that he didn't wear a coat in the woods and that he was like a man because he could handle the cold, and then he took his shirt off. And I'm here to tell you, that's not impressive. to girls.
Hmm.
Stop it. So the group evening starts, and Charity's goal is to deepen connections with everyone. She wants to have one-on-one time with everybody. Brayden suffers from privileged white male disease, and he also says bro about 12 times in 20 seconds. That is a slight exaggeration, but not really. Aaron and Brayden have a heated discussion. And again, Brayden is so here for screen time and to get onto Bachelor in Paradise. He is not here for Charity. And then Charity walks in the middle of this conversation. So, and it's really like, she's like, what the heck is going on? And Brayden says, well, he's packed his bags twice already this season. And Charity goes, oh, okay. But internally, I think she's going, so leave? Why are you here? Just leave. So she pulls him aside to talk, and I notice this stuff. Their clothes are the same color. So Brayden's immaturity super comes out in his talk with Charity, and she, for some reason though, she still really likes him. She's like, I really like this guy, and it's really frustrating her that he doesn't seem to want to be here. And I think like he wanted a Dale situation where she just like fell in love with him, and then they just leave halfway through the season.
Yeah.
And I think that I get why, listen, girls, we've all been there. We like the guy that is the worst possible selection for us, and we don't get it, that there's problems, and we want to fight for something that you really shouldn't fight for. But she's smart, and she walks him out, in front of all of the other guys, and I cannot wait for men tell all. And we think we're saying goodbye to Brayden. We're like, oh, see you, Brayden. Bye-bye. No. And the guys are all, we like her more because she got rid of Brayden. Yeah. Now we really like her. I'm like, shut up. And then the guys are trying to get her to focus on them. Joey's really good at positive reinforcement. But because of who I am, I'm immediately like, what's the catch? There's something wrong with him. There's going to be something that comes out. I don't trust him. He's too nice. He's too sweet. He's too smiley. And that's a glimpse into me. Sorry, audience. And I think Tanner's going to be this season's Ed because he's sliding through. He just keeps going. Yep. He just keeps going. Yep. And she does bird calls with Michael? ? She takes Tanner out to the back to make out. I think Caleb thinks he's Jason Momoa because he dresses like Jason Momoa. He wears a hat like Jason Momoa. They both have an Iowa connection. I think he's trying to be Jason Momoa. Charity gives her group date rose to Joey, and then we transition to Xavier in the one-on-one date. Before this episode, and still even kind of this episode, I really liked Xavier, but his pants are hemmed too high. I don't like the pant hem. They go to a fruit festival that has, we barely see any fruit. First, they're checking out lavender, which isn't a fruit. Then they eat pepper jelly, which isn't a fruit. And then we finally see them interact with actual fruit, and they're stomping on pears to make jam. And I hope to God they do not sell any of the jam that people were making with their feet. She's worried that Xavier reminds her of past relationships, and she's on edge. I know we're going to talk about that in a little bit. They sit down to have dinner, and I hope that the sweater they have him in is from wardrobe and not something he actually packed because it's really ugly. Unless he knit it, and then I like it. He talks about past relationships and what hasn't worked in the past. And Xavier asks her what she's most wary about in a marriage, and she says infidelity, which is a legitimate concern in a marriage, and that she is worried about not being prioritized. I totally identify with that. They talk fears.
I wanna go back real quick.
Yeah.
I think that worrying about infidelity in a marriage is less of a concern than a lot of other things, because I often think there's a lot of other things that precede that infidelity that you should be worried about. Not like, obviously when someone cheats, the cheater is to blame, but I feel like there's the cheating comes after a whole bunch of other stuff. So
interesting.
I just feel like it's like they're like, oh, they might cheat on me. It's like, you should be worried when they stop communicating, or
that's true.
If they're not willing to communicate, or they don't give you equal time in arguments, or so.
Yeah. I think so. I think you're right. I think you're right.
Continue. Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
No, that's fine. I have to find my okay. Also Xavier, I think they talk fears. I think this is an important conversation to have. I think we'll talk more about this in a little bit. He drops that he's getting his PhD, which I mean, we like academia, right? And that his mom has multiple sclerosis and he's trying to find a cure for MS. And I liked that. I liked that. I think Charity is smitten.
Yeah.
And he gets the rose.
Be
Then
a
we go
plumber,
to
Xavier. It's going to be a far more useful job.
I know,
than getting
right?
married.
I
Electrician.
don't know. Medical research, I feel like pays more money than like
yeah, there you go. I'm just
college
thinking
administration.
usefulness, right? Like no one ever calls me and is like, Bill, I have a multi-level modeling question that I need you to answer. Pull out Lizreal real quick, right? They're like, can you wire this into the ceiling fan? I'm like, I have a job that's absolutely not practical in any fashion. So, yeah.
Hey, but you have it and it's delightful. Most days.
I get my naps as you read the text.
Damn it. Okay, so we are at the cocktail party. Erin's giving her a back rub. Nice. She shows Dotun a picture of her as a child. Joey kisses her and they hold hands. Oh, this is when, okay, Tanner is there. And then they go on an adventure to find Bigfoot, which means she wants to take him out back to make out with him. And then, oh, shnikes. They show someone walking in the woods in sandals. It's not Bigfoot. It's Brayden.
It's Brayden.
Ugh. Brayden comes in like a Karen on a mission.
Stinky ass feet.
Sean is okay. This was my favorite part of the whole episode. Sean is wearing a scarf with, I don't know, like New Mexico symbols. He's trying to be cool, I guess.
Yeah.
And the producers, he's making fun of Brayden's scarves, and the producer goes, "You're wearing a scarf," and he goes, "Yeah, but it's cashmere." That's such a douche thing. Yeah. I think that now that Brayden is gone, we're going to see that Sean is even worse than Brayden.
Yeah, you can tell Sean's a tool bag.
Sean's the worst.
He's a little rich kid that, yeah.
So Brayden breaks up my boy John's date with Charity, where they're making out on a couch, but they show the cameras on them, and he just weirdly stands there while they're kissing, and then they cut to commercial, and then Sean has never been more upset in his entire life. And it is clearly because he has not had a hard life and he doesn't know what real life is. Brayden didn't like how he'd left things with Charity. So he, and I'm sure the producers wanted him to come back to apologize to Charity. John isn't happy. No doy. His date got broken up. So Charity kind of lets him have it. And wait for this one. You gotta go to YouTube to see this one, guys. Brayden pulls the, "Oh, it's not you, it's me." And Charity goes, "Oh, I know, it is you." And she says thank you, and she walks him away again because she's a queen. And then Brayden goes back through the room where all the men are, and Erin says, "You need to apologize to John." And they're all getting all testosterone in the air, and they go to the bus and they're like following him, and they're like, "You need to apologize." And John's standing on the steps, and it's so stupid. And it just made me annoyed that we had to watch this. And then we go back to the cocktail hour. John wants to continue the conversation, but Jesse shows up and says, "Cocktail party over, folks. Time for the rose ceremony." John is livid. So now we have 9 guys. 3 of them have roses: Dotun, Joey, and Xavier. And there are 6 guys left to get roses. And the boys who get roses are Erin. All right. Tanner, who must be a good kisser. That's the only explanation that he's still there. And freaking Sean, which I feel is a producer force. I feel like the producers are making her pick him.
Yeah.
So we say goodbye to dear sweet baby angel Caleb, Michael, the yacht driver. I don't really remember him. And John. Gosh darn it. Bye, John.
As far as sweet ass jobs though, yacht captain's pretty good.
That would be pretty sweet. Except I feel like if you were a yacht captain, you'd have to deal with all the dumb people that rent yachts.
Yeah.
They would be annoying.
But it's for sure a job.
Oh yeah, it is a job. Yeah.
In the grand scheme of like Bachelor, where they like put up jobs, that's not a job. Like, yacht captain's for sure a job.
Perfume salesman. So the boys are crying.
Watch the Office Booze Cruise episode, and you will understand how important the yacht captain job is.
That is a great episode. Yep. The boys are crying. Caleb is crying. Everyone is crying. I'm very sad about John. I kind of went into mourning, but then I noticed that he wasn't wearing socks, and I hate that. So bye, Felicia. John, we're done. And now we're back to we only have 6. We only have 6 guys. The end.
That was a outstanding in-depth recap.
That was 45 minutes long.
So we've covered a lot of this. So I'm gonna paraphrase some of my questions because I feel like you did such a good job. She really seems to vibe with Dotun, right?
Yeah. Dotun.
What is the chemistry there? Because I like him too. I just I don't feel like they have that great a chemistry.
I think she likes him because he seems to be a whole man who has his life together.
I go with that. He's got an inspirational story,
He has a great story, has a great job. He's tall.
Right. And here's the thing.
That.
We all know that one thing Bachelorette Nation loves. It's a tall man. But it's like, I just didn't feel the chemistry. And so there's this research I've talked about on here before that when you do something really exciting, people misattribute it to attraction. And so say like jumping off a giant bridge. Think anything could be coming of that?
Well, I think if you go through a near-death experience, right, which I could say jumping off of a bridge into a tiny little gorge could be considered a near-death experience. I think you bond. So I think, and I've done no research on this, but I feel like if you've gone through a traumatic experience with someone, then you have that in common. And maybe you ride that experience for a while until you realize that, but we don't have anything else in common. Right. But we've done this one scary thing, or we've lived through this plane crash, or this Titanic.
Right.
So
people like boned for years after the Titanic with people that they got off on,
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, the 5 guys that survived probably lived very lovely, healthy relationship lives.
And then they were like, so how was your day? Okay. Well, I'm going to take off.
Remember 20 years ago when I survived the Titanic? Should we talk about that again?
Yeah, I don't think they actually, I really like him. And I wish he would be the Bachelor, but I think we all know that's not going to happen. But I don't see the chemistry between the two of them. It seems like they like each other because they're there and they are convenience and they're both really nice people, but they don't seem to really like have this like enmeshing thing.
Well, and they didn't really show us them having the conversations like they've shown us her having conversations with the other guys.
Maybe
so
that's
maybe they haven't had that. Maybe it's purely physical, and you know what? That's okay too.
Maybe that's what I'm picking up on is that like I'm not as good as you at like watching the show for the sake of the show. Like you understand the production better than me. And it's like, I wonder if maybe I'm like, they're just not giving me anything other than like they're making out in a thing and he's telling her about himself and,
Maybe you should watch like I watch and I watch like you watch. And then we do another like conversation.
3 drinks in and like, on your phone. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. We're done with Dotun. Brayden, like, what the 90% of that episode was. Is he really that immature? Do you think he's that immature?
Yes, I do.
So you think he is 24, and so
he's a young 24.
I was a bit of a jackass at 24 as well.
Well, I shouldn't say like I knew you at 24, but most people are. I was probably a jackass at 24.
I'm sure I annoyed people. I don't think I was as bad at him. First off, here's my like PSA for the night. do not eat mushrooms that you can't identify. I feel like that. I'm surprised that they allowed that to go on without something at the bottom that's like, this is a highly controlled environment, because like there are some things that you can eat in the wild that will mess you up or kill you, like shut your kidneys down. So don't do that, people. I'm going to flip this. What are his redeemable qualities? Because, you know, Danielle and I were on here last week, and in full D3 mode, she was like, but here's what I'll say about him. He had this childhood innocence in the helicopter, and I like that. And I was like, maybe I need to be more like Danielle. I do, because she's a very positive person. What are his redeemable qualities other than being tall and having like a wonderful jawline?
I think that one of his redeemable qualities is he definitely has a personality and a look that, like, there's never been any discussion about the earrings or the scarf. Like, that's just what he wears. There's never been any, like, he's never explained it.
Yeah.
Or if he has, they haven't shown it. He's just, this is who he is. I think that he knows who he is, but I think who he is kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh yeah. I think one of the things I wish I was better at, he is very good at being who he wants to be. And I spend a lot of time being like, are people going to think this is weird? Can I say this out loud? And I think he just does what he wants. Now, a lot of it comes off as a tool. And I'm glad you said the thing you said about the coat, right? Because that's a very 23-year-old guy. Like, I'm just such a tough guy. I don't need a coat. I'll just walk around in a short sleeve t-shirt. It's like, wonderful, buddy. Put it in.
No one is impressed by that. You know what I think is sexy?
Ooh.
Winter coat and accessories so that you don't get pneumonia.
A boat.
That's hot.
You know what's sexy? A boat that my friends can get on.
A boat is also sexy. Even a kayak.
Yeah. All right. So the last thing about him, I was uncomfortable with the way they like confronted him on the bus, right?
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it felt like they were whipping a dog that was down, right? He kind of like, Charity, awesome. I loved it. When he was like, I think I'm the problem. She's like, oh, you're the problem. See you later, big guy. And it's like, he clearly had his wings clipped at that point and kind of skulked off to the bus. I just don't think the guys needed to like harangue him. And even John, I felt like he went out, he approached him, and he tried to stop the guys, right? He's like, this is our conversation.
I know.
I don't know. Were you as uncomfortable with it?
John. I didn't love it. I didn't think it was necessary. I think that it was a producer thing. And I also think that, like, I've said this so many times. Men throwing their big old, like, you hurt my woman, I'm protecting, blah, blah, blah. That is so unattractive that you just sound like a Neanderthal. Like, knock it off. She handled the situation. Right. She didn't need your help. Step aside. Just send Goodbye Brayden off on his own.
Yeah, she handled it very well.
She did. She didn't need it. She did not need Aaron swinging his self around, putting himself in the situation.
Also, did they have him on a drunk bus? It
they
looked
sure
like
did.
They were on in Cedar Falls. We have Dolly's party bus, and it looks exactly like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'm sure it was like the van that they use at the hotel to get them from the hotel to different places.
Yeah.
But it's sad when there's just one person in it.
Yeah. Yeah, the party bus isn't as partyful when it's one person.
Who's just been dumped again.
Here is my amazing observation, or my thought as I was watching it. It's like, you know what? One of the guys should have, so there was a guy that was like, all right, tonight, you know, we need to make this like the best time she's had she needs to not think about Brayden. It needs to be all about her. It's like, if you were another guy, if you were smart, you would sit down with her, and instead of ratting out somebody, you'd be like, you know what, Tanner, he said this, like, that's a pretty cool guy. Like, he is a good guy. It's like, I think that's what people really want, right? No one wants to be married to somebody that's like, I don't like that person, and I don't like that person, and I don't like that person. We can't hang out with any of them. It's like, if guys,
that means it's a you problem. If you're saying all the people you don't want to hang out with because of them, it's probably a you thing, not a them thing.
if people really wanted to game the Bachelor and Bachelorette system, they would start complimenting all the contestants and being like, they're so awesome. You're awesome. They're awesome. Like, I want to be with you, but just to let you know, they're pretty cool. Like, they said this, and yeah, very specific.
I agree.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Xavier, so did you feel like that date was really weird up until like they had their conversation? Like, they had a very odd vibe through the day part of the date.
I thought the day part of the date was stupid. And so that might be why the vibe was weird.
Okay. Expand on what was stupid.
She does all these really cool things on these other dates. And then they are just at this like dumb, stupid fruit festival with like 4 other people sniffing lavender. That's dumb. Like, no, I didn't like it.
No one likes lavender anyways. Like, people are always like, I love it. And it's like, no, you don't.
It smells like an attic.
Honestly, I don't think I could tell what lavender is. Like, if you put it up in my nose with 3 other scents, I'd be like,
it's one of the scents I put in my bath when I'm having insomnia because it helps me sleep. So if you're on a date with someone, do you want to be smelling things that make you sleepy?
Several times at hot yoga, one of the yogi people put it on my wrist and like, this is lavender, it's calming. And it's like, listen, I'm sweating balls right now. There is nothing calming about this situation.
Essential oils are a sham.
Yes. Here's my other question. Here's the other thing I want to know about Xavier. All right. Okay. Several times she said that, I don't know why I'm making this hand gesture. So if you guys are watching, you're a
winner.
I am at least 2 starries and whiskeys into this, so I'm getting a little loopy at this point. She said several times that he is like her exes, right?
Yeah.
Or specific ex.
That's not what you want to hear.
What is the line between having like a type and like being attracted to a weird fatal flaw? And again, I do research in this area and I can't tell you. Like, I feel like we've all got things that we're attracted to. And then I feel like there's also things that in people we've dated, it's been like at some point I got to quit being attracted to this thing and realize that it's not serving me.
Bill, I'm about to go real deep in here.
Real deep in her Iowa State stocking cap.
In my Iowa State puffy ball hat, which is appropriate.
Also a wonderful university, the largest university. All 3 of my degrees are from there, so I approve.
I don't have a degree from there, but I'm very much associated with Iowa.
Yeah, you're like
State.
A legacy kid.
I am.
Sorry, go ahead. You were going to go deep.
So the reason I have stopped dating, well, there's 2 reasons. One is because I keep moving. But I discovered after a pretty awful ending that I definitely have a type. And that type is that I'm like 45th in their line of, oh gosh, what's the word? Importance. Priority. Yes. I'm so used to being so low on their priority list that I can't even remember the word. So I took a deep look at myself after reevaluating all of my past relationships and went, I need to stop because I need to stop this pattern. And then maybe hopefully we'll get back into it. I also need to stop moving all the time. But that is what yes, I definitely think people have patterns. And sometimes a pattern is a good pattern. And sometimes the pattern is not a good pattern. And if you can recognize what the pattern is, and if it is a good pattern or a bad pattern, then you can start adjusting accordingly.
Right. And professional mental health counselors could help with that, I feel like.
They do, in fact, help with that. Right?
Yeah. I just throwing it out there as we are advocates. Mental health help
very
is
reasonable.
Yeah, we really have a mental health like kind of theme with this. You took a mental health day.
Did.
Yeah, I have no idea what she was attracted to about him. She never really disclosed that.
Maybe it's because he knits. Maybe she likes a crafter.
She's into knitting. But then she's like, I just want you to watch TV with me, maybe cuddle. And he's like, I gotta finish this scarf.
You can cuddle and knit at the same time.
For Sean. Yeah, I've got to get him another scarf. Yeah,
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
I mean, he seemed like a really like down to earth guy. He seemed to have his priorities, and she seemed to think there was this like red flag. But then after they talked and the infidelity thing got like, so she was thinking he might be someone who's not willing to be faithful. But I think that's really hard to judge. And so,
Yeah, how do you know? Unless he said, well, I've cheated on the last 4 girls I've dated. Which,
Right.
if he actually told her that,
exactly. And then how do you know, right? Like,
good for you, I
so
guess.
yeah, I mean, I guess if you're like, yeah, I've cheated several times, like good for you for being honest, but then the person should be like, right? And then if you say no, I think they're being honest. So yeah. All right, that's the end of my stuff. Kim's corner.
I like it. Okay. What wilderness skills? I'm going to ask you a question that we're going to talk about. What wilderness skills actually are useful in a relationship, and why were the child actors so scary? That's my Kim's corner.
Here
What
is
do you
me.
think are useful wilderness skills for a relationship?
Okay, and then I'm gonna come back to the child actors thing. Why they were so scary. I don't think there are any wilderness skills that are actually useful in a relationship, other than none of them that they did.
Right.
But if you do have to like backpack with people, I know because I backpacked with my dad as a retirement gift, and being able to communicate and work together. And I think that's very important. Also, when the person that you're with really annoys you, which will happen, and I'm sure I annoyed my father. I'm sure he annoyed me. If you're listening, Dad, you know you can be a lot. I know I can be a lot. But being able to go to mutual corners for like 20 minutes and work on your stuff and then come back and be like, you know, we buried the hatchet. I'm sorry. Sign language for sorry. And we're good now, right? So
I like that. I think that goes back to our needing alone time
yes.
to rebuild your energy. I would say that survival skills that I would find useful would be listening and being able to follow directions that you are, and that you aren't necessarily always in charge.
Yes.
That you trade off on who is in charge of different situations, because one of you might be better at a skill than the other one. And nobody likes a mansplainer.
Yep.
And then I think a wilderness skill that I find to be useful, that I would find to be useful, is to be able to build a fire.
From scratch.
Because I like fires.
Like, are we talking with a lighter? Do you got a spark thing? Do you got to go bow and string?
I think if you have a spark or a lighter, I don't think a bow and string. I feel like that's a little more than extreme.
If you've ever watched Alone, it is not easy, right? To do the like hand or the bow and string thing. Yeah. So yeah. I agree with all those. I feel like communication and listening and just, you know, I think that really important, the big thing, like being able to let your partner be in charge and you be the sous chef, and then letting you be the head chef and you be the sous chef sometimes is really important. So I think the child actors were so scary because they were little girls. And I ask you why little girls can be in charge as well. Had those been little boys, we would have been like, oh, they're just being Boy Scouts and taking charge. And although I do think the little child actors were like verging onto being like snippy about stuff. I didn't find that very entertaining.
They needed to lighten up a little bit. Their characters were a little strong.
Yep. Yeah.
Awesome.
Lessons learned. What'd you learn?
I learned that I missed all the Bigfoot sightings except for Justin Palmer at the end. I was too busy taking notes.
I learned that you also were very uncomfortable with them just like sending them out and like grabbing food and being like, what, like, come on, people. Yeah.
Why?
you've got some like hiking, backpacking skills as well. And it's like, that's like the first thing you learn is you don't just like roll up and start eating whatever you can find. It'll kill you.
No,
Yeah.
you will die or get a really bad rash or giardia.
Yeah. All right. City shout out. You ready for it?
Yes, please.
This is going to go to Pristina, Kosovo, which we now have close to 100 listens from. If you did not know, I went to Kosovo in late May as part of the university's contingent, and I got to go to like 5 universities. And really the only reason I picked them was because at one of the universities, a group of like 3 girls walked up to me and like, can we get our picture with you? And I'm like, all right, maybe they think like famous college professor. And after they got done, they're like, we just want to tell you, you look like Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, damn, don't you make that face. I was like, I sure do look like, I'm aware I don't look like Ryan Reynolds. But apparently, like, you know how some people will say everyone of some race look the same? Apparently, white Midwestern gentlemen all look like Ryan Reynolds. I'll take it.
Okay.
Yep. What you need to know about Pristina, it's the capital of Kosovo. It has about it has about 198,897 people. It is been there for a very long time. They were part of several different empires, like the Ottoman Empire. In the late 90s, Kosovo was actually invaded by Serbia, and then the NATO forces came in and liberated it. The Iowa National Guard was part of it, which is pretty cool. They love Iowa there. I saw several Iowa flags. I don't know where that hat came from. I love it.
I thought it would be appropriate as you talk about Kosovo.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Dua Lipe, I believe, is Albanian. Let me get down here to my famous Kosovo people. Famous people from Kosovo. There are several famous people from Kosovo. Dua Lipa is Albanian and British, but also considered Kosovo. And so there's this line between people from Kosovo sometimes consider themselves Albanian and back and forth.
He's in the new Barbie movie.
Yep. Mother Teresa was Albanian and so is also considered Kosovo. And she is in the city of Pristina. They actually have Mother Teresa Square. It's a beautiful place. You can walk down. They have food carts. They have music. It's a wonderful place to be. So I feel like I should be on the board of tourism for Kosovo. I got to spend 7 days there, and it was awesome. And they treated you very kind. They're very welcoming, and it's pretty cheap too. Like
and all of the pictures you took are beautiful, and the food looks amazing.
Yes, a lot of meat. I had my cholesterol checked after. We're working on it. We're working get that number down. I ate oatmeal for lunch and dinner. So that number's going down, hopefully.
That's a breakfast food, Bill.
And a dinner. Apparently, when your cholesterol's high enough, they pointed out it's an everything meal, right?
Oh, dear.
Yep. So that's all I got.
Nice. Lovely.
Yeah. What do you got for sign-offs?
Hey, it's almost August. How did we already get to this point in the summer that we're almost done with it?
It's almost August and Kim is wearing
Wait, I have one more.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, last hat.
Carmen Sandiego. I love it.
This is the hat I wear when I go as Miss Scarlet at Halloween.
I love it.
All
right, everybody. Make sure you watch the YouTube video so you can see the hats.
That's pretty amazing. Bye.
You have been listening to Batchademia
with your hosts, Danielle Dick McGee,
Kim Hanna,
and Bill Hennig.
All thoughts and opinions expressed on the show are solely those of the person who spoke them.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe to the show, leaving a 5-star rating and review wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Also, please share with your family, friends, colleagues, and other ardent Bachelor fans.
If you have comments or questions you would like us to address on the show, you can email us at batchademia@gmail.com.
Or on the Twitter with the handle @Batchademia.
Thanks for listening.